Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I am going to make your pizza dreams come true. Today we are going to learn how to make keto stuffed crust pizza. This is super easy. You mix it, you spread it, you fill it, you bake it. Boom. And if you want a printable version of this, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some Amazon affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those Amazon affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and will help to support the channel. So anytime you want to purchase anything on Amazon, make sure you remember me, use my affiliate link, and a small portion of your purchase will help to support the channel. And while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Line a 13-inch round pizza pan with parchment paper. If you don't have a pizza pan, you can use an 8x13 baking sheet or cake pan. Just make sure you line it, whatever size pan you are using. In a large mixing bowl, combine 1 cup of coconut flour, a half teaspoon of salt. The salt is optional if you think you're going to be putting toppings on your pizza that are more on the salty side, such as pepperoni. You might want to leave the salt out. That's up to you as to how much of a flavor you like to have in your pizza. Add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum, and 1 tablespoon of dry Italian seasonings. If you don't have dry Italian seasonings, I just use a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of dry oregano, a little bit of dry basil, about a teaspoon or so full of each one of those, and I just mix those all together if I'm out of dry Italian seasoning. Sift or whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 4 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature. That way they beat into your dough more smooth. Whisk the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients have been moistened. Add a half cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to put hot butter in this. And stir everything all together until everything is fully combined. Then push all the dough to the center of the bowl and form it into a ball. Massage the dough ball in your hands for about 30 seconds. This is just to make sure of the texture. You're wanting to make sure that everything is fully combined and that you have a very smooth, soft dough. It should be lightly moist, but it should not be sticking to your hands, and it should not be crumbly at all. So just lightly moist, but not sticky. If it does feel sticky in any way, then just add a very small amount more of coconut flour. If it's crumbly, then add a very small amount more of warm milk or warm water. Once you've massaged the dough and made sure that your texture is right, break up the dough a little bit and gradually add in 1 cup of grated mozzarella cheese. Make sure you just add this in a little bit at a time. Add it in small amounts, then whisk or stir it in until it's combined, then add a little bit more and whisk or stir it in until it's fully combined, until the entire 1 cup of grated mozzarella has been added and fully combined. Once again, roll the dough into a smooth ball and massage the ball once again for about another 30 to 45 seconds. Again, this is to test your texture, to make sure that everything is sticking together well and that the mozzarella cheese is fully and completely combined into the dough. Again, your dough should be lightly moist, but not crumbly and not sticky. Roll the dough back into a smooth ball. Make sure it is smooth. Make sure if there are any cracks, you smooth them out. Then place the ball into the center of your prepared pizza pan. Then press or roll the dough evenly throughout your pizza pan until the dough pushes up the sides and a little bit over the edge of your pizza pan. So it should be sticking up probably anywhere from a half to 1 inch over the edge, depending on how much filling you're planning on putting in your crust and what type of filling you're planning on putting in your crust. Once the dough is all evenly spread throughout your pan and you have some of the dough pushed up over the sides, you're going to put whatever filling you want in this. I'm making this a cheese stuffed pizza, so I'm using some string cheese and just placing it around the inside edges of the pizza pan. I used about 7.5 sticks of string cheese. Again, you can put whatever filling you want in this. You can put meat filling, spinach, mushrooms, whatever you choose. Just be careful not to overstuff the edges. Once you have your filling all around the inside edges of the pan, then take the excess dough that's hanging over the sides and fold it over the top of your filling until it is completely covering your filling. Make sure that when you pull it over your filling, you are careful and that it is completely smooth and completely covering your filling. If there are any cracks in your dough, make sure you lightly dampen your finger and smooth them out, because if you do have cracks in your dough, then your filling is most likely going to seep out a little bit, especially if it's a cheesy filling. It will seep out a little bit through any cracks, which doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered with sauce and toppings anyway, but just to let you know that can happen if you do not fully make sure that your filling is completely covered and that the dough is smooth over it. Once all of your filling has been covered with the dough and it's nice and smooth over the top of your filling, lightly dampen your finger and make sure that the edges of the dough that you folded over are completely sealed into your pizza crust. Again, if you leave any cracks, your filling can spill out a little bit. And again, it's not that big of a deal because it will be covered, but if you don't want that to happen, make sure it is sealed up really well. Once your filling's all covered and the dough's all smooth and sealed up around the edges, place it in your preheated oven and bake at 400 degrees for 15 minutes or until it's lightly golden on top. Once it's baked, remove it from the oven. It will be soft. You want it that way. You do not want to overcook your crust because you will be popping it back in once you put the toppings on it. So I like to let it cool in the pan for around 5 to 10 minutes just to allow it to firm up a little bit and so you don't burn your fingers when you're putting the topping on it. So let it sit in the pan for about 5 to 10 minutes before putting the topping on it. While the crust is cooling for a few minutes, we're going to make a very quick no-cook pizza sauce. In a small mixing bowl, combine 8 ounces of tomato sauce, 6 ounces of tomato paste. Use a fork and stir these both together until it's fully combined and smooth. Now you can add more or less tomato paste depending on how thick you like your pizza sauce. If you like it more on the thin side, then use less tomato paste. If you like it more on the thicker side, then you can use more tomato paste. That's up to you what consistency you want. Just make sure you stir it together and it's smooth. Once the sauce is smooth, add 1 teaspoon of dry oregano, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half teaspoon of dry basil. Again, use your fork and stir these all together into the sauce until they're fully combined and evenly distributed in the sauce. Now you can use more or less of these seasonings according to your taste, or you can change it up and use different types of dry seasonings. It's up to you how you want your sauce to taste. Once the sauce is fully combined and to your desired taste, then come back to your pizza crust. Top the pizza crust with your desired amount of sauce. You can put however much you want. If you do have any leftover sauce, you can always store it in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to a week. Once you've added your desired amount of sauce, top it with some shredded mozzarella cheese. I use about 2 cups, give or take. But again, it's up to you how much cheese you want on your pizza. Just make sure it's evenly distributed over the top of your pizza. Top the cheese with your desired toppings. I'm just doing a simple pepperoni and olive topping, but I've also done a chicken fajita pizza. I've done a Hawaiian pizza. You can put any topping you want on this. Once your pizza is all topped with your desired toppings, place it back into your preheated oven and bake again at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes or until the cheese is melted and the toppings are heated through. Once it's done and the cheese is melted and all the toppings are heated through, Remove it from your oven and allow it to cool for at least 5 minutes before slicing it. If you try to slice it right away, 1, you'll probably burn your fingers, and 2, you run the risk of your pizza crumbling on you. Because as I've said many times, gluten-free doughs and baked goods of any kind are fragile when they first come out of the oven, so you do want to let it cool for at least 5 minutes. Once it's cooled for 5 minutes, slice your desired size pieces. This makes about 8 slices, give or take, depending on how big you slice your pizza. Place your desired amount on a serving plate. If you do have any leftovers, allow the leftovers to cool completely. Then you can store them in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.